Good morning, everyone. I am Harvhey Ballesteros together with my co-reporter Marichar Bagain. We are going to discuss the physical education during Dark Ages. Without further ado, let's get started. Dark Ages on the history were the period following the fall of the Roman Empire in Anno Domini 476. It belongs to a period of European history called the Middle Ages or medieval period from about 500 Anno Domini to 1500 Anno Domini, a time during which civilization undergoes a decline. Why is it called Dark Ages? Because it brings images of war, destruction, and death.
A historical periodization used originally for the Middle Ages, which emphasizes the cultural and economic deterioration that supposedly occurred in the Western Europe. Following the decline of the Roman Empire, the label employs traditional light versus darkness imagery to contrast the darkness of the period with earlier and later periods of lights. Teutonic barbarians overlooked the lands that experienced glory and grandeur. Peasants worked the land and produced the goods that the lord and his manor needed. They were heavily taxed and were required to relinquish much of they harvested. Teutonic barbarians who lived a life characterized by much physical activity were strong and healthy and conquered the Romans who were physically and morally deteriorated due to their way of life. Teutonic barbarians were a Germanic people from Denmark. Together with another German people, they attacked the Roman Empire in Australia and northern Italy in the late 2nd century BC.
There are two major movements grew out which swept all over Europe: asceticism and scholasticism. Asceticism is a lifestyle characterized by abstinence from worldly pleasures, often pursuing spiritual goals. Many religious traditions, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, and some Christian groups, include practices that involve restraint with respect to actions of body, speech, and mind. The founders and earliest practitioners of these religions lived extremely austere lifestyle, refraining from sensual pleasures and the accumulation of material wealth. Scholasticism method of critical thought, which dominated teaching by the academics, scholastics, or schoolmen of medieval universities in Europe from about 1100 to 1700, and a program of employing that method in articulating the defending dogma in an increasingly pluralistic context originated as an outgrowth and a departure from Christian monastic school.
Christianity, the Anointed One, is a monotheistic religion based on the life and oral teachings of Jesus as presented in the New Testament. Christianity is the world's largest religion with approximately 2.2 billion adherents, known as Christians. Most Christians believe that Jesus is the Son of God, fully divine and fully human, and the Savior of humanity, whose coming was prophesied in the Old Testament. Consequently, Christians refers to Jesus or the Messiah.
Theodosius Flavius Theodosius Augustus, also known as Theodosius the Great, was Roman emperor from 379 to 395. Theodosius was the last emperor to rule over both the eastern and the western halves of the Roman Empire. His social transformation was a pivotal, if under-recognized, milestone in European history. It parted Roman religious tolerance and political strength, and may be seen in retrospect as the inauguration of feudal society.
Paganism or pagan, a broad group of indigenous and historical polytheistic religious traditions, primarily those of cultures known to the classical world. In a wider sense, paganism has also been understood to include any non-Abrahamic, folk, or ethnic religion, modern ethnologists often avoid referring to non-classical and non-European tradition and historical faith as pagan, in favor of less ambiguous labels such as polytheistic, shamanistic, and animistic. Contemporary or modern paganism, also known as neo-paganism, is a group of new religious movements influenced by or claiming to be derived from the various historical pagan beliefs or pre-modern Europe.
And last is scholasticism had the belief that the most essential items in one's education are facts, that the key of a successful life is development of the mental or intellectual powers. This belief, which was held by the scholars at the time, passed down from generation to generation, so that scholasticism as a movement presented a challenge to physical education. An effect of this, the emphasis on physical activities, was the institutions associated which with early Christianity would not only physical education to be one of the important subjects in their curriculum. That's it for today. I hope you've grasped the gist of our discussion and thank you for taking the time to listen.